So welcome. Happy birthday, ATHS. We're 50 as of today. 50. 50. Wow. I'm going to have party. I'm not going to sing happy birthday. So I'll save you all from that really bad. It's not what we want. Courtney already said don't do it. So I said, okay. But happy birthday. It's exciting. Not many associations or companies or organizations ever reach 50. So we did it. Yay. That's exciting. Happy birthday to us. We are very excited to present this evening. Courtney Cesar is our librarian, if you didn't know that. She is the keeper of all of the nice archives we have in the office. And Marty Glomb is our first vice president, and he has been around for a day or two and knows a little bit about it. And so we're very excited to have him here. A few things for tonight. If you have a simple question, throw it in that Q&A box. Or if you have a short story, let us know. We want to hear some of you all who have been around for a while, your stories. So please send those our way or raise your hand and we will get to you. Don't worry about interrupting. We'll get there. But if you're having issues, use that chat box and one of us will get to you and help you along the way. All right. With that being said, Courtney is going to take it off from here. So we were founded 50 years ago, Courtney. What's up with that?
I don't know, Leanne. Geez. So March 24th, 1971, ATHS was incorporated. As you see, these were our wonderful group of founders here. They did this in Chicago, signed our charter in Chicago, Illinois. However, ATHS was not the only organization founded at this time to preserve the history of the trucking industry. The U.S. Truck Historical Society, which was founded in September of 1970, was actually a major competitor for memberships during that time because 1971 was when they started prepping for memberships. The two groups met and it was decided to merge. Next slide. And they did this on October 14th, 1972, and they became one under ATHS's name. So it was actually only literally 3 days later that ATA, the American Trucking Association, recognized ATHS as the organization completely responsible for and dedicated to preserving the history of trucks and the trucking industry. As you can see, this was their actual resolution from their executive committee meeting on the 17th in their meeting. So it was really exciting. And we've tried to be true to that resolution with them and for ourselves. So in 73 was our first actual convention. And we say convention because it did not include a truck show. This was purely a convention. When they met, it was considered at this point the greatest success in ATHS history, 2 years old. And they also developed some significant priorities for the society and where they wanted to go. A few of those included gathering oral or written histories for all trucking and allied pioneers, developing and publishing a who's who of the industry pioneers and present leaders, cooperating with known or proposed museums to gather data and pictures of historical and vintage trucks, to issue awards and citations to those who have rendered outstanding service to the industry, and to add on to that, it was also, they were doing to discuss the feasibility of a Hall of Fame, which could be published and made available to libraries, schools, universities, etc. 50 years on, I think we've been pretty true to that.
Yeah, we have. We've done a lot of that.
Yes. So moving on to 70, later in this was pictures of our first working convention. As you can see, they were actually really formal.
Looks a lot like our board meetings, doesn't it? Everybody's sitting.
Yeah. Sitting around the table in a suit.
Yeah.
I, of course,
talking about the librarian, apparently.
Yes, that was my like, oh my God, they were looking for one all the way back 50 years ago. So we were essentially a hot topic in the trucking industry at that point for the first couple of years, transport topics. As you can see, this is some of the scrapbook coverings from our personal archives here from May 21st of that particular meeting and what they were talking about at that point. So then in 73, October, we actually got our logo. So this logo was subcontracted out to a company called Whiteco and Associates out of Shelby, Indiana. They actually, that company did the logos for all of the White company itself. So I thought that was a neat tie-in that after 10 different iterations, this was the logo they settled on, where the wheel is the wheel, the shield is the shield of all of the highway markers, and then the stripes for the roads. If no one knew what our logo stood for, that's the basics right there.
Good to know.
So in 74, they started distributing membership cards. It's a pride and joy of all of our members, sent out with all of your new member packets, and we hope you keep them because it's a good collector item, especially since we made them standardized in 19, I believe. We quit putting years on it, that's for sure. So some of the other things that actually happened in 74 that were not on this timeline, but were of interest to this, was that on our newsletter that they were publishing up until this point, they used the term the official archives of the trucking industry. So at that point, we were publishing trucking information, industry information, things relevant to the organization, and so on and so forth. So at the next convention in 75, we actually started in on the awards system. So the founder awards, which were created to honor those who were established leaders in the trucking industry prior to the passage of the Interstate Motor Carrier Act of 35, was our main award for probably 20 years almost. The first 4 awards were presented to Welby Franks, Walter Belton, Lonnie Schneider, and Harris Saunders, who should be a well-known name because he was one of our founders and leading people in ATHS. So, in 76, the first ATHS chapter was formed in Illinois. So chapters are some of the best ambassadors for ATHS, and I'm honestly so appreciative of all the work they do for us. So Marty, I know you're a member of quite a few chapters. Can you tell us a little bit more about some chapters and any personal anecdotes you might have for ATHS here?
Sure. Just to echo what you said, Courtney, gosh, they're the backbone of the society. We're so fortunate, so appreciative of all they do. 94 chapters today in 41 states. That's pretty remarkable. They just really, they do so much for us. And yeah, that's the connection, right? Is the chapter, the members, close to home, getting involved with things going around, the place locally, and having fun, getting together and talking about old trucks.
Well, and we have a special guest. Our illustrious president has raised his hand. Mark, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I just got a question. Courtney, do you have a list of all the people that was on the board of the original founders there of the society?
I do. Let me dig that out because I do not know all of their names off of the top of my head.
And while you're looking at that, we also have a question of what was the name of the first chapter in Illinois, if you happen to know.
I do not, because I actually did go looking for this, and it doesn't say in the newsletter, and it doesn't go on to say in the newsletter at all in future ones. And when I went digging in Razor's Edge for any chapters that were incorporated in Illinois, It does not say, so I'm guessing somewhere along the line, I need to go back through all of our chapter newsletters and find this. Because the next closest one was the Oregon Trail, which was 2 years later. In answer to Mark's question, the founders were Phil Sherman, Maurice Tucker, Howard Willett, John Ernest Housen, A.H. Nielsen, Matt Thywart Jr., Harry Woods, Wayne Hunt, Edward Nicewick, and Stanley Richardson. The original listing here, it also includes the people who were involved in incorporating ATHS, which was Harry Woods, Wilbur Dean, and Edward Nicewick. And then the original directors of the organization were Harry Woods, Wilbur Dean, and Mr. Willett.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome question. Thanks, Mark. So do you know what city maybe they were?
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay. So
That I do know. It says everything about the location, but it has literally no name, just that they were founded. And
all right.
that if any other people were interested in forming a chapter, to contact headquarters. So it's like,
Awesome.
okay.
Well, there you go, Tim. It was in Chicago somewhere. Just not quite sure if it's still around. Awesome. All right. Back to our little timeline here.
Sorry, I was looking at the chat because I'm like, oh, there's still two. So after the first chapter, in 77 is actually when Harris Saunders took over as the president of ATHS at the time. So before this, we actually had all of our we had our newsletter editor in Philadelphia, and then we had our archives in Dearborn, Michigan. We didn't have a building unto ourselves. So when Mr. Saunders took over, he decided that he was going to essentially donate space in his own headquarters to us. So we moved to Birmingham, Alabama in 1977. And that is also when Zoe James, his daughter, took over as bookkeeper, executive director, archivist, everything. And she did the production management for the newsletter, all sorts of things. So it was just one of those deals. So after we moved and we moved our archives there, they actually decided to start expanding the newsletter. This was due to the influx of information and requests that they were getting, that they wanted more topics. So they expanded the newsletter to cover more aspects of the trucking industry to make it more appealing. Right after that.
Excited for the next one.
Yeah. So this was our first convention and truck show. 1980 is essentially a special year for ATHS besides our incorporation. It's kind of hard to imagine, Leanne, but there was only 21 trucks at this convention.
We could fit that. We could fit that at the home office these days.
We've proven that we can fit up to 70 here, so. So this is the time we kind of want to open it up a little bit. So do you have any conventions that you have attended that are really memorable, Marty?
Or Marty, would you just like to just park 21 trucks?
Yeah, really. Wow. Gosh, they're all memorable, right? Those are the highlights for sure of our time at the society. And my first one was Fontana in 2004. The first one we actually took our truck to was 2014 in Springfield, Missouri. I think my favorite probably was Reno, actually. Just really had a good time there. Loved it. Loved seeing the people. That's what it's all about, right? All of us getting together and sitting around and shoot the breeze for a little bit. There's got to be some other folks out there with some conventions,
I know.
right?
Where was the first convention and truck show held? We actually have that information, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. It's on the top of my head.
The first convention and truck show was Sarasota at the Hyatt House, April 10th through 12th.
So it was in a hotel parking lot in Sarasota, Florida. Okay, Mark. Mark is wanting to talk again. Mr. Schroyer.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the first one I attended was in Marlborough, Massachusetts. And I don't remember what year that was. It was either like maybe 1990, something like that. And
91.
91, okay. I knew it was right in there somewhere. And you know, one of probably my most memorable ones was in Auburn, Indiana, because that was the first one that I went to and actually volunteered and worked the whole show there, you know, to kind of get in there and get helping with everything. And you know, it's just went from there one after another, it seems like. So really enjoyed all of them.
That's awesome. It just goes to show, you know, Marty, you went to conventions for 10 years before you brought a truck.
Right.
You can come to the convention.
I was slow in my rebuild there. But yeah, you don't have to have a truck. It's just as much fun. And a heck of
Sometimes
a lot
more fun. You don't have to worry about the truck. Yeah, we have a lot of people telling us where in their first one is. That's awesome. Dale Bridge, our treasurer, our illustrious treasurer, his first one was in Auburn, Indiana. Doug Smith said Fontana was epic, trucks lapping the track. He got stuck with Mack fire apparatus when he was just trying to help the auction along. So be careful what you auction or what you bid on in an auction. You might get stuck with something. Thanks, Doug. Is there anybody that we know that's attended all the shows since 1980? I don't know of any. I agree though, Tim, if we have them, absolutely we should recognize them. But I have not heard of anyone. But if anybody knows, put that out there. If anybody knows, let us know. We would absolutely love to acknowledge that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Especially as we get up to the recognition and the celebration of the actual number of conventions we have.
Right.
Really exciting. And Mr. Schnautz, who is our current convention committee chairman, his first one was in Springfield there with Marty. Did you drag him along, Marty?
Yeah.
You did.
Funny.
He has to.
We didn't even know each other were there.
Oh, I was going to say, does he have you to blame? For going down the rabbit hole. Anybody else got any fun stories?
You know,
Oh, I'm sorry. Mark, go ahead. I got ahead of.
can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but he was from out in California. But he was the guy that really pushed the Home of Our Own, you know, to get our building paid for there in Kansas City. And oh my gosh, he was just such a good promoter of the society. I can't remember what his name was, you know, but he done an awesome job, you know, to help us get our building paid for as quickly as we did there.
Well, that's awesome. If anybody remembers the name, can help Mark out, let us know. You love listening to all of this. Maybe. Yeah, bunch of windows. Somebody asked if it was Dennis, but I don't think it. I think
No.
it would have been Dennis. But
No, the guy lived right out on the coast there, up just north of LA, I think.
John Vanetta said it was Bob King.
There you go, Bob King, absolutely.
I was
Thank
just about to go pull the newsletters. I'm like, I know finance the Home of Our Own committee. I know this.
you. Yeah, thanks, John.
All right, Mr. Kraus. We love to hear you stories. Maybe. All right, we'll wait for Ken if he's got a story. Anybody else got anything? We love that.
While we're waiting, I think my first memorable one will be the one that it doesn't rain at, because every convention I've been at since 2013 has rained.
Even when we go to the desert or Desert Lake in Reno, Nevada, it still rains. We thought we'd get out of it. John Vanetta said his first one was in Hunt Valley, Maryland in 1988. We got any earlier? We'll auction it off here. earlier than 1988. We're going low, not high, low. We're going low. Uh-oh, Jack didn't. You unmute yourself, Jack.
1985 Valley Forge.
Nice. You were
I had 5 trucks at that show.
so you had like half the show?
No, that was a big show.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Yeah, I think we had, I don't forget, that was local. I was involved in putting that show on too.
We actually 275 trucks at that one.
Yeah, that was a big show.
Yep. We
And then
actually
we had it again in 2000. One of the few places that we've had 2 shows in the same place.
awesome. Valley Forge it is. Valley Forge for the win. All right. We got anybody past that one? No, lower. Anybody going lower? I know. I feel like I'm an auctioneer. I'm so not an auctioneer. All right. Oh, Virgil. Virgil, if you'll unmute. Jack, did you have something else?
No.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Just saw your head up. So. All right. Awesome. Well, we will continue on. We love our conventions. They are, like Marty said, they're just a great time for everybody to get together and see everybody. And last year we didn't get to do it. I'm so sad. But we are this year. So come to Virginia. Come to Virginia.
Now I got unmuted.
Yay. Hi, Virgil.
Okay. I just got a story from Kansas City, and I don't remember what year it was because I've got the wheel stop under my Jeep and I can't get to it. But I got my I worked registration in Kansas City, whatever year it was at the Cow Palace.
2002.
I got a story about that. The guy that brought the double-decker London bus, the Leland bus down to the show, he was working registration, and they was pulling around to go in the arena. And all of a sudden the line stopped. We went around to find out why. When we went around, the big bus was at the door. And the question was, how tall are you? And he says, about 13 feet. And they said, how tall is the door? And they said, well, it's about 13 feet. We need to look at it real close. So it was about the same height as the door. So they rounded up enough people to fill up the bus to bring the springs down so they could pull in the door. That was fine. But then the problem was when we got ready to leave, when the show was over, we had a hard time rounding up enough people to fill it up to get back out.
Oh,
I just had to throw that one in.
that's awesome. Thank
Pretty
you.
cool.
That's great. Yeah, and Pete Laughlin let us know that one was all indoors, Courtney, so there was no rain. But yeah, there was 435 trucks. I don't think there's or we can do that now. But Brian Peters suggested maybe if we can put up a plaque at headquarters that recognizes Bob King's contribution to the Home of Our Own campaign. There's an idea. Maybe for the 50th, Marty?
Yeah, there you go.
Because we'll certainly be giving out awards at that one. So
Yes,
setting some records.
absolutely. Awesome. All right, Tom Mulligan said he worked registration at and volunteered at the Pleasanton, California show. Yes, Pleasanton. That's awesome. Oh, Pete Kirby. He said he was not it was not an ATHS show, but he first learned about ATHS through folks showing their trucks at the All Mac Truck Show at Garrett's Equipment in Pennsylvania in 1988. So, and thank you, Pete. Yes, we're very excited that the association and all of those who came before we've made it to this historic anniversary. Absolutely awesome. All right. Hey, and if you guys have stories, they don't have to be about convention. They can be about anything. Raise your hand, throw them out there. We'd love to hear them. But we'll continue on our little timeline. Oh, Virgil's got something, another one. All right, Virgil.
Okay. On the home of your own, when they moved from Birmingham to Bonner Springs, I was active on that home of your own thing and tried to get it moved to St. Louis. And Bonner Springs beat us out.
Oh.
That's
Well,
all. And I haven't been active with the club for 20 years because I quit playing with the big trucks. But anyway, I enjoyed a bunch of years of it.
well, wonderful. Well, we're glad you're here tonight. That's awesome. We love hearing about the stories.
For sure.
Hey, and bring your pickup. All right. All right, Courtney.
So, as I said, 1980 was a big year for ATHS because this is the first time we moved from a newsletter to a full throttle actual magazine. This is the cover of volume 1, number 1, October 1980. One of the interesting facts about Wheels of Time, besides the fact that the name was a contest and that was what won, was that up until now, Bart Rawson, who was the main editor for the newsletter, him and Zoe were the pretty much the only staff at that point, and he was approached at the Sarasota, Florida conference by Bill Moon, the president at the time, going, we have a lot of trucks here and we should, show our progress. How soon could you actually turn this newsletter into a real publication? And so it's kind of just like, well, give us some time. And they did. At the October meeting, they did make it. And in the 25th anniversary issues, they had a series called I Remember, where Bart actually said some things about this. And he made a comment about how Zoe came down the runway from the plane when she flew in holding the first copy and how proud she was that this was hot off the press, the first Wheels of Time that she got to go in and show the board. So I thought that was really sweet that they moved from essentially a 16-page newsletter to, at the time, I believe it went to 25. So, I mean, they increased it a lot and full cover photo. So, and it's only gotten better from there. Shout out to our editor Stormy for all that she's done because our editor is celebrating 20 years with us this year. So
There we go. All right. And then we started traveling.
yes. So in 82, they decided to not just be Midwest/East Coast, that they were going to start purposely doing West, Midwest, East Coast shows in an actual cycle. So we finally moved from there and has been to this day.
Yes, and Mr. Jack Denton had something he wanted to tell us.
I just want to say that they were fortunate to get Bart Rawson because he was the editor of Commercial Car Journal. So he had the experience to get Wheels of Time underway. That was very fortunate for the society to find him to be the one who got Wheels of Time going.
Oh yeah, it was. When I was doing the research for this, that was one of the most impressive things because I was like, I knew the name, but I didn't realize he was the chief editor for Commercial Car Journal before he essentially took us on as a side project.
Right.
Became so involved.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jack, for letting us know that.
You're welcome.
All right, and Denny told us that Mr. Jensen was a member of the chapter that lived in Sioux City, Iowa. So, there you go. All right. All right. Another major milestone coming up.
So ATHS had been essentially clamoring for members up until this point. And when Zoe and Harris Saunders took over, they really started pushing membership. In 77, we had somewhere less than 1,000 in there. And by 82, we were up to 3. So they tracked this milestone throughout all the issues. We honor all of the 15th, the 12th, the 14,000 member in our organization, and we continue to do so by doing it in Welcome to the Fleet. So,
Awesome. And then so
yes. So right before this, in '89, Zoe actually retired as the executive director due to health reasons, and she passed in 1990, early 90s. So ATHS, in her honor, renamed the library the Zoe James Memorial Library. And we've continued to collect in her name ever since, really. So she was a leader for our organization and continues to be. So 91, hey, ATHS is 20 years old at this point, and almost in celebration of it, Volvo GM actually donated their white archives to us. We also acquired the Ernest Sternberg photo collection, which covered Sternberg and Sterling trucks at almost at the same time. These two collections make up over 60% of the photo collection of ATHS at this time, which I didn't realize till I went through and I was looking at my numbers and I'm like, wow, that everything else.
pictures. That's a lot of pictures.
50,000, and they are digitized and they are online.
Oh yeah, go to the website. You can find them. Oh, Tom Mulligan. You want to unmute yourself? Love to hear what you have to say. Probably look for the mute button. I'll find it. All right, Tom, when you get it there, let us know.
So that's it.
There's the Sternberg collection.
Yes.
Oh, one of the pictures.
If you search for Sternberg in our gallery, you'll be able to find the many that we have there that are tagged with his name. So
Pictures.
in '94, the truck show had gotten so big that they could no longer fully cover it in Wheels of Time, because they had been, up until this point, putting it in our bi-monthly magazine. So they discussed it, and then they said, we're going to put it in a special insert, and it went into the September-October issue. It is now one of our most anticipated member benefits outside of Wheels of Time itself at this point. So I don't know how many calls we get, but we get a lot of calls. Literally starting in July through November. Is Showtime out? Can I get a reprint? When will it be available?
Marty, you've had your truck in Showtime a few times now?
Couple times now, you bet. You bet. See down there, it says all color. Has Wheels of Time always been a color publication?
Showtime has always been a color publication. We'll get to Wheels of Time later, but
Okay.
it actually beat out Wheels of Time by almost a decade for full color.
Cool.
Oh, that's crazy.
And in 2001, we celebrate 30 years. By doing so, we culminate our entire home of our own project by moving into a home of our own. This is the picture of the outside of our current building, minus the big center circle, because we actually upgraded our drive last 2 years ago, so that's no longer there.
It's much more truck friendly now. You can bring your truck and you can drive through the parking lot and not get stuck on the nice circle of concrete.
Yes. But the Home of Our Own campaign was started in '94, and we, like I said, the project culminated in the purchase of the building. And 10 years after that, we actually paid off the entire loan for it, thanks to literally the generosity of our members. They had a goal in '94 of $250,000, and within 3 years, they had actually received double that. They were up to like 625,000 in '97. So it's really impressive. And honestly, we just keep improving our building year to year with more and new, interesting, and sometimes abstract displays. But if you're interested in learning, small plug, learning about the library and any of our displays, we actually did a webinar last month on it, and it's available through our website.
Come look through all of the stuff in the library. Hey, but Marty, you were talking about
There
wheels
we
of
go.
color. Hey.
And I thought for sure it was when our editor had been taking over, but she fought for a year apparently, and then she got Wheel of Time to be printed in full color.
2002. Wow, it's not been in color very long. Seems
Nope.
like it should be longer.
And then ATHS celebrates their 40th anniversary. We actually celebrated that by putting out a anniversary book that was essentially a membership roster / photo archive of the time. And we did that again in our 45th. It's a way to honor our current membership and our history and milestones for that.
And something's coming up that is nice and big and very prominent at the office.
Yes. Our CF motor cargo sign. Some of you on the East Coast might be familiar with this sign. It was on the highway beside the highway, high up in the air for many a year. And it was very generously donated to us and hauled across the country. And we have a wonderful slew of pictures actually of the move-in and installation via crane to get it off the flatbed and onto these studs holding it up in the air. And it is still the traditional neon, and we still fix it.
A lot.
Weather permitting, we're hoping.
If you buy one of the bricks, if you've seen that advertisement in Wheels of Time, the bricks, those bricks are around the bottom of that CF sign. So they surrounded the Memorial Library or garden. So that's where your brick is if you buy one. You can come see it.
And finally, today, ATHS is 50 years old. We've been very active in the past 2 years, actually, on some strategic planning, and we're really excited for the next 50.
Yeah,
Marty, you want to tell them about some of our other plans for the rest of the year?
Sure. We're committed to our mission to preserving the history of trucking and its pioneers, and continuing to move that forward. Equally committed to convention and the truck show that goes along with that, to have a little bit of fun, meet our friends that we haven't seen for a year or maybe a couple of years. Just super excited that we're going to be able to be in person this year, and equally as excited that there's going to be a virtual element to it as well. So even those that can't or are concerned with the attendance, they'll still have the opportunity to participate. So that's really cool. I am always, I'm in awe of the foresight that our founders had when they put the organization together. Involved with the bylaws committee. We've had very, very few changes to those in 50 years. They're just really forward thinking, and the board's trying to carry that on today. Think of more benefits for our members, things like the Hagerty insurance program and things like that. How to attract new members, younger folks that can carry our mission on. Certainly a challenge, but we're up to it and continually work on it. Talk about it all the time. Lots of things in play, trying to, make that happen. Last year was tough for us with respect to membership, but things are looking up. Continue onward and upward. Lots going on at home office there with respect to some of the things that Courtney talked about. Just super excited about our 50th anniversary celebration that we're going to have there in October. If you've never been to Kansas City, it's just be a fantastic opportunity to come walk around the place. I mean, gosh, you can grab one of those couple of those books with pictures in them and sit there at the table for a day without a problem, right? It just like that, the day's gone. So
We have 8,000 square feet of material for you guys to come browse at any time.
we got a timeline wall that we've just begun to try and highlight some of the prominent moments in history and continue to build on that. Just lots going on and trying to carry on our mission there, you know.
Mr. Schroyer.
Yes, thank you. I just pulled off the shelf some of my back issues, the Wheels of Time, you know, and one of the people that was on the front cover of the August of '81 was Frank Malatesta. Frank Malatesta was a big promoter of the society. He's had his advertisement on the back cover of the magazine for years and years and years. And you know, some of the guys I sit here and think about, you know, is some of the ones that was really instrumental, you know, in the society, you know, from way back in the beginning, such as Arnold Brush, and we lost Al Koning here a few years ago, and he was very, very adamant on the bylaws, keeping the society, you know, going the direction what we need to, you know. But you know, just a number of guys, you know, that I could sit here and rattle off is just, you know, just very instrumental, you know, to the society, you know, to keep it moving forward. And I appreciate everything that they've done, you know, to get us to where we are today.
Thanks, Mark. Hey, Hovey, do you have something for us? Go ahead and talk. Mr. Campbell? All right. We can't hear you if you are talking, unfortunately.
We can hear you kind of now. Little closer to your phone or computer. Not sure what you're on, so.
Okay, how about now?
There we
That's better.
Okay, I'm just curious, years ago when you guys were in Southland, Indiana, you had, I was involved in the Southland Transportation Club. And of course, if anyone remembers that, it rained the entire weekend. So we had a bunch of trucks that actually came to our lot and they parked out there because of the mud. We had a place that we could actually put these guys. Is there anything that goes on when they have the local shows like the Harrisonburg, Virginia? I mean, is there going to be support for local people that can? I mean, we did this as a you know, kind of a membership drive for ourselves. Honestly, it didn't work out, but I mean, I'm glad we did it anyway. We tried and we kind of failed, but is there anything you can do to help like the local groups that want to get involved in this? I mean, I've been in transportation since 1974. So just curious if there's anything that can be done to help the local people when they sponsor the truck shows.
Yeah, I don't know, Marty, if you want to answer some of that, what we kind of do for the local chapters.
Sure. We're happy to provide liability coverage for the event, assuming that follow a couple of rules. I know that there are packets available, different kinds of promotional material that the folks there at Kansas City, Jody in particular, I think is just chomping at the bit to send out.
We provide the truck placards that you can fill out.
You bet. All kinds of membership brochures, just, you know, whatever you think you want, and anything that we can send along to help, we're more than happy to do that.
Yeah, I hope we put together a whole little kit that we can send off. Tell us about how many might be at a local show, and we can do that. And that doesn't even have to be a local show. If you guys are out and about and want some stuff to help promote the society and promote your chapter, just let us know. That's what
Yeah.
Bart's there for.
The majority of the people that came, I mean, they were a lot of out of town people. And we just, like I said, we were looking to increase our membership at the Southland Transportation Club. We just kind of fell on our face for that, and just I don't think we really took a whipping on it, but we did our best. I will just say that, and it didn't work.
Sometimes they don't work.
Yeah, that
It happens.
happens quite frequently, believe me. And in all the years I've done this, I can well acquaint with that. So
But you learn what not to do, and then you continue and you grow.
right.
But we are also here to answer any questions you might have. If we don't know the answer, we'll find somebody who does.
Right.
So we're here for our members in any way we possibly can be. So just if you have a question, call the home office, and we may have to dig around for a little bit, but we'll get there.
Well, I do have questions, but I'll wait. I'll take the opportunity to call you on your phone. So
Absolutely. Yeah, give us a call. If we don't answer, leave us a message. We'll call you back.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Hobie. All right. That's awesome. So yeah, we are, like Marty said, we're going to have our 50th anniversary celebration at the home office on October 14th and 15th. All members are welcome to join us on October 15th. It is open and free to all members. So please come on out to Kansas City. I am going to make a little bit of a plea here. If you own a 1971 truck and you want to bring it to Kansas City and show it off, let me know. We're looking for some 1971 trucks to put in on display for the event. So I'm going to put a little shameless plug in here for that.
Nice job.
I know. I knew you'd be proud of me, Marty. And if you can't come out there and you're going to be at convention this year, our welcome reception is actually going to be a birthday party. So come on out and help us celebrate there as well. We're going to have some fun things going on.
And
I
we
know
also are celebrating our 50th anniversary each month via the store. Got to get in Jody's plug because God forbid she catches me tomorrow and I haven't said it. But we are actually doing sales each month or a new membership type once we get to October. On the notice there. And so check back our home 20, it's always in there. We send it out in our dispatch. So keep a weather eye out there on all of our newsletters for any potential sales or celebrations that we're doing, both online and in person.
Awesome. Hey, Mr. Schroyer.
Yeah, I just wanted to say tomorrow on at 4:15 Eastern time, there's a guy goes by the name of Bubba Bo or something like that on WLW out of Cincinnati, Ohio on 700 on the AM side of the radio. Called and asked me to do a segment on the history of trucking, and I'll put out a good promotion of our 50th anniversary on there as well. So if anybody can listen to that, you'll hear me on there tomorrow. And I think they are on iHeartRadio. So if anybody wants to go on iHeartRadio that didn't close enough to Cincinnati to pull it out, you can hear that little piece on there tomorrow. It used to be a Truckin' Bozo late at night, and then his son did that show for a long time, and then now it's this guy, is what I've been told. I haven't listened to that station in a long time, but they called and asked if we could do something. I told him we'd be more than happy to do it, so I'll definitely put a plug in for 50 as well.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and if you guys hear stuff like that, we're always more than happy. We have lots of people willing to do stuff if you're not willing. Or if you need information, Courtney can get you the information. So anything like that, we're happy to do. And we're just so excited to be here and be part of this and be part of a 50th anniversary celebration. We don't get to do that very often. So it's extremely exciting. And so for those of you who have stayed with us, most of you have. One more. Our next one is with the great Tony Martin. Always a favorite. But it's going to be on livestock trailers. And this is one sponsored by Wilson Trailers. So excited to have them come on board for this. But he's going to tell us all sorts of stuff. If you've seen one of Tony's webinars before, you know he goes into amazing detail. He really tries to leave no stone unturned and just becomes the subject matter expert on anything he gives out. So please join us for that. It's only in a couple weeks. Not even 2 weeks away, April 6th at 7 p.m. And we are excited for that. And with that, I want to say thank you to Courtney. Thank you, Marty, for doing all of the research and finding all of this. And thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you down the road. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for all the work, everybody, and we'll talk to you down the road there.
All right. Thank you, guys.